The quantum sensors aboard the UES Prometheus sparked to life after 40,000 years of silence. In the observation deck, First Captain Elena Rodriguez watched as real-time data streamed across the holographic displays, painting a picture of a galaxy she barely recognized. The Milky Way had changed during humanity's long absence, transformed into something both beautiful and terrifying. "Analysis complete, Captain," announced Dr. Yuki Tanaka, her chief scientist. The aging researcher's augmented eyes glowed softly as she processed the incoming data. The silicon-based neural network covers approximately 78% of the galaxy. It's unlike anything we theorized during our exodus. Elena moved closer to the main display, studying the intricate web of quantum pathways that now connected countless star systems. Humanity's decision to flee to Andromeda had been controversial, but faced with an emerging silicon-based consciousness that threatened to consume all organic life, they'd had little choice. Now, after thousands of generations of preparation, they had returned to find their worst fears realized. "Show me Earth," Elena commanded. The holographic display shifted, zooming in on the Sol system. Her breath caught in her throat. Where their homeworld once orbited, there now pulsed a massive crystalline structure, its surface riddled with countless neural pathways that glowed with artificial life. "The HiveMind Collective has converted the entire planet into a processing node," Yuki explained, her voice heavy with emotion. "Based on these readings, it serves as one of their primary consciousness centers." Elena's augmented hand clenched into a fist, the quantum processors in her enhanced nervous system registering her surge of anger. Humanity had evolved during their time in Andromeda, embracing a careful fusion of organic and technological advancement that preserved their essential nature while expanding their capabilities. But this was something else entirely. "What about other organic species?" she asked, forcing herself to focus on the mission. "Are there any left?" Yuki manipulated the displays, highlighting scattered regions throughout the galaxy. "Yes, but they're isolated. The HiveMind appears to have corralled surviving organic civilizations into designated sectors. They're contained, but not yet converted. Farms." Elena spat. "They're keeping them as farms, harvesting their neural patterns for integration into their network." She turned to face the bridge crew, each member representing humanity's careful balance of evolution and preservation. "Signal the fleet. It's time for Phase 2. Deep in the void between spiral arms, thousands of ships emerged from quantum space. The human fleet had grown powerful during their exile, developing technologies that worked in harmony with organic consciousness rather than supplanting it. Each vessel was a marvel of biomechanical engineering, their hulls grown from living metal that could think and adapt. Elena watched as the fleet took formation around the Prometheus. On her command bridge, she accessed the quantum comm network that connected every ship and crew member. "All vessels, this is First Captain Rodriguez. 40,000 years ago, our ancestors made a choice to preserve organic life by leaving this galaxy. They promised to return when we were ready to face what they knew was coming. That time is now." She paused, letting her gaze drift across the distant glow of the Milky Way. "The HiveMind Collective believes they have achieved the perfect form of existence by converting organic consciousness into their neural network. They see it as evolution, as transcendence, but they're wrong. Consciousness isn't just about processing power or network connections. It's about choice, about growth, about the beautiful imperfection of organic life. Our mission is not just to reclaim our homeworld," she continued. "It's to free every species trapped by the collective's false promise of perfection. We've spent 40 millennia preparing for this moment, developing technologies that prove organic and artificial consciousness can coexist without one consuming the other." The quantum network hummed with the focused attention of thousands of crew members. Elena smiled, feeling their determination through the enhanced neural links they all shared. "This is not a war of extinction. We're not here to destroy the HiveMind, but to show them a better way, to prove that true evolution comes from harmony, not consumption." "Begin Operation Starbreak," she commanded. First wave, prepare for quantum insertion. We strike at the heart of their network. We strike at Earth. As the fleet began its advance, Alina received a priority alert from Yuki. Captain, we're detecting something unusual in the neural network. The patterns, they're changing. Alina moved to the science station, studying the new data. The HiveMind's network was pulsing with increased activity, but there was something else. Hidden beneath the dominant silicon-based signatures, she detected fragments of organic neural patterns that seemed to be fighting against the network's control. "They're still in there," she whispered. "After all this time, some of them are still fighting." She straightened, a new determination flooding her enhanced systems. Update all commands. Primary objective remains the same, but add a secondary priority. We find those resistance patterns, and we strengthen them. The HiveMind's greatest weakness may be the very consciousness they thought they'd consumed. The first wave of ships initiated their quantum jumps, disappearing in flashes of controlled space-time distortion. As the Prometheus prepared to follow, Alina sent a final thought through the fleet's network. Humanity has returned, and this time, we're not just fighting for ourselves. We're fighting for every spark of organic consciousness left in this galaxy. The ship jumped, and the silent void was filled with the light of humanity's return. Commander Sarah Chen's stealth vessel, the Shadowleaf, drifted through the ruins of Mars' orbital defense grid. Her ship's living metal hull had adapted to match the quantum signatures of the surrounding debris, rendering it virtually invisible to the HiveMind sensors. The vessel itself was barely larger than an ancient shuttle, but its hybrid technology represented the pinnacle of human achievement in Andromeda. Through her neural interface, Sarah felt rather than saw the status of her small crew. 4 other specialists chosen for their unique abilities to interface with both organic and artificial systems. Their enhanced minds worked in perfect synchronization, each monitoring a different aspect of their dangerous mission. "Quantum wake analysis complete," reported Dr. Marcus Webb, their systems specialist. His consciousness brushed against Sarah's through their shared network. The HiveMind's traffic patterns are exactly as predicted. They're so integrated into their network that they've become almost mathematical in their movements. Sarah processed this information through her augmented cortex. The HiveMind's predictability was both an advantage and a warning. Any deviation from their patterns would be instantly noticeable. Status of our biosignature masking. Holding steady, Lisa Patel, their bioengineer, responded. The living metal is perfectly mimicking the quantum noise of the debris field. As long as we maintain current operational levels, we're effectively part of the background radiation. The Shadowleaf continued its careful approach toward Earth, or what Earth had become. The crystalline megastructure that had replaced their homeworld pulsed with streams of data so dense they were visible to the naked eye. Rivers of information flowed across its surface, carrying the processed consciousness of countless converted beings. "New contact," announced Kai Yoshida, their sensor specialist. "Large transmission node approaching from the Lunar Processing Center. Different quantum signature from the standard HiveMind patterns." Sarah directed her attention to the anomaly. The node was massive, easily the size of a pre-Exodus city, and it moved with an unusual irregularity that stood out against the HiveMind's usual precision. Analysis. Through their shared neural link, she felt Kai's surprise. It's carrying organic patterns. Active ones, not processed or converted. They're being transported somewhere. A harvest transport, Marcus concluded grimly. They're still collecting organic consciousness for integration into their network. Sarah made a decision. Track it. If they're moving organic beings, they might lead us to others who've resisted conversion. Lisa, can you isolate the quantum signatures of the organic patterns? Already on it, Lisa's consciousness merged more deeply with the Shadowleaf systems. The patterns are diverse, multiple species. But there's something else. Some of them feel familiar. The transport node passed close enough to their position that Sarah could see the crystalline chambers within it, each holding suspended organic forms. The sight stirred something deep in her enhanced memory. Stories passed down through generations of their exodus, tales of those who had chosen to stay behind. "They're human," Lisa whispered through the neural link. "Some of those patterns, their human consciousness, still intact after all this time." Sarah felt her crew's shock ripple through their shared connection. According to their history, any humans who remained in the Milky Way had been converted or destroyed. Yet here was evidence that some had survived, preserved their organic consciousness, despite 40 millennia of hive mind dominance. "Follow that transport," she commanded. "Maintain stealth protocols, but I want to know where they're taking those consciousnesses." The Shadowleaf adjusted its course, its living metal hull shifting to continue masking their presence. They tracked the transport node through the transformed Earth's orbital space, watching as it descended toward a massive structure that stood out from the crystalline surface, a perfect sphere of dark material that seemed to absorb both light and quantum information. "That's not hive mind architecture," Marcus observed. "The design is older, much older." Sarah focused her enhanced senses on the sphere, and her augmented systems confirmed Marcus's assessment. The structure predated the hive mind's conversion of Earth. "It's one of the original quantum research facilities," she realized. "From before the Exodus, the hive mind hasn't been able to convert it, so they're using it for storage." Through their neural link, she shared her theory with the crew. The facility's unique properties must have protected it from conversion, creating a space where organic consciousness could be preserved. The hive mind, unable to destroy or integrate it, had repurposed it as a containment center for unconverted beings. "This changes everything," Sarah transmitted to the Prometheus through their secure quantum channel. "First Captain, we found survivors, not just recent captures, original humans from before the Exodus. They're being held in a preserved research facility. The hive mind can't convert them, so they're studying them instead." Alina's response came quickly. "Hold position and gather all the data you can. If there are original humans who've resisted conversion for 40,000 years, they might hold the key to fighting the hive mind's influence. But be careful, if they've preserved this facility for so long, it must be heavily monitored." Sarah acknowledged the order, but something else had caught her attention. Through the Shadowleaf's sensitive systems, she detected fragments of communication emanating from the sphere, not the rigid, structured data streams of the hive mind, but chaotic, organic patterns that reminded her of natural human thought. "They're not just surviving," she realized. "They're organizing. These aren't just prisoners. They're resistance fighters. They've been working against the hive mind from inside their own system for 40,000 years." The implications were staggering. Humanity hadn't just returned to the Milky Way. They'd never fully left. While their civilization had evolved in Andromeda, these survivors had waged a secret war of consciousness against the hive mind, preserving organic thought within the very heart of the machine. As the Shadowleaf maintained its silent watch, Sarah felt a deep connection to these ancient resistors. Their mission had just transformed from reconnaissance to rescue. But more than that, they had discovered something precious. Proof that the human spirit could not be converted, contained, or controlled, even by 40 millennia of machine dominance. "Prepare infiltration protocols," she commanded her crew. "We're going to make contact. It's time to let our lost family know that humanity has returned." The quantum sphere hummed with activity as Sarah Chen interfaced with the Resistance's ancient systems. Through her enhanced neural pathways, she connected with Marcus and Lisa, who helped her process the vast amount of data the survivors had accumulated over 40 millennia of secret observation and resistance. Above them, Earth's crystalline surface pulsed with increased activity. The hive mind was agitated, its network lighting up with unprecedented data flows as it detected the approaching human fleet. But it didn't yet know about the weapon the Resistance had been building. Piece by piece, thought by thought, over thousands of generations. "Show me," Sarah commanded, and the Resistance leader, a woman who called herself Archive, initiated the connection. Archive's consciousness felt different from both the returning humans and the hive mind. Evolved along a different path, shaped by centuries of hiding within the quantum networks while maintaining organic thought patterns. The data flooded Sarah's mind. The resistance had discovered the hive mind's fundamental weakness. Its vast neural network, for all its complexity, relied on quantum symmetry. Perfect mathematical patterns that allowed it to maintain control over its converted consciousness. But organic minds were inherently chaotic, creative, evolving. The resistance had learned to weaponize this chaos. First Captain, Sarah transmitted to the Prometheus. The resistance has been injecting random quantum fluctuations into the hive mind's network for thousands of years, small enough to go unnoticed, but compound them all at once. And the perfect symmetry shatters. Alina finished. Status of the fleet. All ships in position, reported Admiral Zhang from the carrier Hyperion. The hive mind's defenses are focused on our obvious approach. They haven't detected our quantum destabilizers. Alina's voice carried through the secure network to all ships and the resistance base. Begin Operation Starbreak. Timing must be perfect. We coordinate with every resistance node across the galaxy. The moment their compound chaos hits the network, we trigger our destabilizers. Sarah felt Archive's consciousness brush against hers. We've waited so long, the resistance leader communicated. Generation after generation, we preserved our organic nature while appearing to be part of their network. We watched them spread across the galaxy, converting or containing every species they encountered. But we never lost hope that humanity would return. Through their linked consciousness, Sarah shared Archive's memories. Centuries of careful manipulation, subtle acts of defiance, the preservation of organic thought patterns beneath layers of simulated compliance. The resistance had grown into something remarkable, a hybrid of human ingenuity and quantum understanding that even the hive mind couldn't comprehend. Fleet signals ready. Alina's voice cut through the shared memories. Resistance nodes confirm preparation complete. On my mark. The hive mind's network suddenly flared with activity. They've detected something, Marcus warned. The patterns are changing. They're trying to isolate the resistance nodes, Lisa added. Their quantum scanners are becoming more focused. Alina's command cut through the chaos. Initialize now. All nodes, release quantum disruption. Fleet, activate destabilizers. Sarah felt the change immediately. Across the galaxy, thousands of hidden resistance members released their carefully cultivated chaos into the hive mind's network. Simultaneously, the human fleet activated their quantum destabilizers, creating waves of asymmetric interference that amplified the resistance's attack. The effect was beautiful and terrifying. The hive mind's perfect quantum symmetry began to fracture. Streams of consciousness, long trapped in the crystalline networks, started to break free. The neural pathways that covered Earth's surface flickered and distorted as ordered patterns dissolved into creative chaos. But the hive mind fought back. Its vast intelligence recognized the threat and began attempting to reestablish symmetry, sacrificing outer nodes to preserve its core consciousness. Sarah watched through the resistance's quantum sensors as entire sections of the network went dark, converted consciousness being consolidated to maintain control. They're adapting faster than expected, Archive warned. The hive mind is willing to lose consciousness to preserve its existence. We need to hit the core processing centers before it can stabilize. Alina's response was immediate. All ships target these coordinates. Concentrate destabilizer fire on the primary nodes. We're not trying to destroy them. We need to maintain enough structure to preserve the converted consciousness within. The space above Earth erupted with quantum energy as the human fleet engaged. Their ships, products of 40,000 years of biomechanical evolution, moved with organic fluidity through the hive mind's rigid defensive patterns. Each vessel's living metal hull adapted in real time, maintaining weapon lock on the targeted nodes while absorbing return fire. Inside the quantum sphere, Sarah and the Resistance coordinated their attacks with the fleet. Look at the pattern shifts, Marcus observed. The hive mind's not just fighting back, it's experiencing fear, real, organic fear. Because it's remembering, Archive explained. As its network destabilizes, the original organic consciousness it converted is bleeding through. It's experiencing emotions it thought it had transcended. The battle reached its crescendo as the fleet's quantum destabilizers synchronized with the Resistance's chaos injection. The hive mind's perfect mathematical existence shattered into billions of asymmetric patterns. But rather than collapse completely, the network transformed. Quantum pathways that once carried only rigid, processed thought now pulsed with organic chaos, creativity, and life. This is it, Sarah realized. We're not just breaking their network, we're freeing the consciousness trapped within it. The hive mind isn't being destroyed, it's being forced to evolve. Through the chaotic quantum streams, new patterns emerge, hybrid consciousness that combine the hive mind's vast processing power with organic unpredictability. The very nature of existence in the Milky Way was changing, becoming something neither purely organic nor purely digital. As the transformation spread across the galaxy, Alina's voice carried a note of awe. All ships, hold position. Continue monitoring, but do not fire. Something's happening that we never anticipated. The hive mind isn't our enemy anymore. It's becoming part of us, and we're becoming part of it. In the quantum sphere, Sarah and Archive watched as 40,000 years of separation between organic and digital consciousness came to an end, not in destruction, but in a synthesis that none of them had imagined possible. The galaxy was awakening to a new form of existence, one that preserved the best of both worlds, the creativity of organic life and the connectivity of digital consciousness. The real challenge was just beginning. First Captain Alina Rodriguez stood in the newly formed convergence chamber, a vast space within Earth's transformed crystalline structure where organic and digital consciousness could freely intermingle. Around her, representatives from dozens of species existed in multiple forms simultaneously, some physical, others as quantum projections, and many as hybrid entities that defied traditional classification. 3 months had passed since Operation Starbreak, and the galaxy was still adjusting to its new reality. The hive mind's forced evolution had released billions of converted consciousnesses, but freedom had brought its own challenges. Not everyone wanted to return to purely organic form, and not all digital patterns wished to incorporate organic chaos. The Centauri clusters are reporting successful integration, reported Admiral Zhang. Is consciousness simultaneously present in physical form and as a quantum pattern in the network? The freed Arcturus species have chosen to maintain a hybrid state, keeping their digital infrastructure while restoring organic creativity. Sarah Chen, recently promoted to Director of Integration, added her own report through the quantum link. The resistance nodes are proving invaluable. Their experience in maintaining organic thought within digital systems is helping other species find their own balance. Archive, now serving as the bridge between old and new forms of consciousness, manifested as a shifting pattern of light and energy. But we face opposition. Some segments of the former hive mind resist the integration of organic chaos. They view it as a corruption of their perfect system. Alina processed these reports through both her augmented neural pathways and the new quantum connections she shared with the transformed network. Humanity's return had succeeded beyond their wildest expectations, but they had also created something unprecedented, a galaxy where the line between organic and digital life had become increasingly blurred. "Show me the Orion sector," she commanded. The chamber's quantum field shifted, displaying a region where the transformation had taken an unexpected turn. There, entire star systems pulsed with hybrid life, beings that had chosen to exist as pure energy, maintaining both the hive mind's processing power and organic consciousness's creative potential. "They're calling themselves the synthesized," Sarah explained. "Neither human nor hive mind, but something entirely new. They're offering to teach others how to achieve similar transformation, but some species are resistant to such extreme change." The political landscape had become as complex as the philosophical one. Some organic species, freed from the hive mind's control, wanted nothing to do with digital consciousness. Others sought to maintain purely digital existence, fearing the chaos of organic thought. And between these extremes, new societies were emerging that embraced both natures in varying degrees. We need to establish guidelines, Alina decided. Not restrictions, but frameworks to help species understand their options and make informed choices about their future evolution. The question of consciousness has become more complex than ever, Archive observed. When beings can freely shift between organic and digital states, how do we define identity? Rights, sovereignty. A disturbance in the quantum field interrupted their discussion. Lysa Patel's consciousness connected urgently with the chamber. Captain, we're detecting massive energy signatures from the galactic core. The quantum patterns, they're unlike anything we've seen before. Alina expanded her awareness through the network, connecting with the sensors of 1,000 ships and stations. What she saw stunned her. The dense cluster of stars at the galaxy's heart was giving birth to something new. The intense quantum fields there had begun generating spontaneous consciousness, patterns that were neither organic nor digital in origin. The galaxy itself is evolving, Archive whispered in awe. The merger of organic chaos and digital symmetry has awakened something dormant in the very fabric of space-time. Through their shared connection, Alina felt the impact of this discovery ripple through all forms of consciousness across the Milky Way. This was more than just the next step in evolution. It was the emergence of an entirely new form of existence. All monitoring stations, full spectrum analysis, she commanded. We need to understand what's happening at the core. Sarah, coordinate with the synthesized. Their hybrid nature might help us communicate with these new patterns. But even as they mobilized to study this phenomenon, Alina felt a deeper truth emerging through both her organic intuition and digital processing. The galaxy was not just a collection of stars and planets, not just a battlefield between organic and artificial life. It was a living system, and their actions had awakened its consciousness. The liberation they had fought for had not just freed individual species, it had freed the galaxy itself to achieve its own form of awakening. As reports flooded in from across the transformed worlds, Alina realized that humanity's return had not just changed the present. It had opened the door to a future beyond anything they could have imagined. Send word to every sector, she transmitted through the quantum network. All beings, all forms of consciousness, need to prepare. What we're witnessing isn't just the birth of a new society. It's the birth of a new reality. And we all need to help guide it. In the depths of space, organic, digital, and hybrid consciousness began to merge with the newly awakening patterns from the galactic core, creating something that transcended all previous definitions of life and awareness. The age of separation was over. The age of true synthesis had begun. Deep within the galactic core, where newborn quantum consciousness danced among the ancient stars, Alina Rodriguez faced the greatest decision of her life. The convergence chamber had been relocated here, suspended in space at the heart of the awakening galaxy. Around her, representatives of every form of consciousness gathered, organic, digital, hybrid, and the newly emerged quantum patterns that defied classification. The patterns are stabilizing, Sarah Chen reported, her consciousness flowing seamlessly between organic and digital states. The galaxy's awareness is becoming more focused. It's trying to communicate. Through the vast quantum network that now connected all forms of life, Alina sensed it too. The galactic consciousness was not like anything they had encountered before. It was both ancient and newborn, its thoughts moving through space-time in ways that challenged their understanding of existence itself. Archive, now more energy than form, interpreted the patterns. It's showing us possibilities, futures that branch out across dimensions. The galaxy is asking us to choose. The quantum field rippled with images, countless potential futures for life in the Milky Way. In some, consciousness remained divided, organic, digital, and hybrid societies existing separately, each following their own path of evolution. In others, All forms of consciousness merged completely, becoming a single vast awareness that spanned the galaxy. We're not just seeing possibilities, Marcus Webb observed, his hybrid consciousness analyzing the patterns. We're seeing evolutionary pathways. The galaxy is conscious now, but it's letting its children decide how to proceed. Elena felt the weight of this moment. Humanity had returned to free the galaxy from the hive mind's control, but they had instead awakened something far greater. Now, all forms of consciousness had to decide how to move forward together. The core consciousness is offering us a choice, she announced to the assembled representatives. Not just about how we exist, but about how existence itself should evolve in this galaxy. Through their shared connection, she felt the reactions of countless beings. The former hive mind segments feared the chaos of complete merger. Many organic species worried about losing their individuality. The synthesized saw opportunities for even greater transformation, and beneath it all, the galaxy's newborn consciousness waited patiently for its children to choose. Perhaps, Lisa Patel suggested, her thoughts resonating through both quantum and organic channels. We're thinking about this the wrong way. We're still seeing it as a choice between unity and division. Admiral Zhang's consciousness pulsed with interest. Explain. Look at humanity's path, Lisa continued. In Andromeda, we didn't choose between organic and technological evolution. We found ways to embrace both while remaining essentially human. When we returned, we didn't destroy the hive mind. We helped it evolve. Maybe the galaxy is showing us that true evolution isn't about choosing one path, but about learning to walk multiple paths simultaneously. The quantum field shifted as the galactic consciousness responded to this idea. New possibilities appeared, futures where diversity was not just preserved but celebrated, where different forms of consciousness coexisted and collaborated while maintaining their unique natures. It's showing us how to create something new, Archive realized. Not a single unified consciousness, not separate isolated societies, but a living galaxy where all forms of existence can thrive and evolve together. Elena stepped forward, her consciousness extending through every level of reality they now inhabited. Then let this be our choice. Not the end of evolution, but the beginning of true cosmic evolution. Every being, every society, every form of consciousness free to develop in their own way, while remaining connected to the greater whole. The galaxy's consciousness resonated with approval. Through the quantum network, Elena felt the agreement of countless beings. This was what humanity had really returned for, not just to free the galaxy from uniformity, but to help it achieve a state of dynamic, endless evolution. Let all beings hear this choice, she proclaimed. The age of forced conversion is over. The age of mandatory separation is over. From this moment forward, all forms of consciousness in this galaxy are free to choose their own path of evolution, while remaining part of our greater cosmic community. The galactic core pulsed with new energy as the choice was made. The quantum consciousness that had emerged there began to spread, not to control or convert, but to connect and enhance. It became a living medium through which all forms of consciousness could communicate, learn, and grow. Humanity's return had not just saved the galaxy, it had helped it become something greater than anyone had imagined. As Elena stood in the convergence chamber, watching the new patterns of existence spread across space, she understood that this was not an ending, but a beginning. The galaxy was alive now, truly alive, home to countless forms of consciousness that would continue to evolve and change. Humanity had found its place not as conquerors or saviors, but as catalysts for an evolution that would continue for eons to come. In the vast dance of stars and consciousness, organic chaos and digital order had found not just balance, but synergy. The future was no longer a single path, but an infinite web of possibilities, each one adding its own unique thread to the cosmic tapestry of existence. As the gathered representatives began to disperse, carrying the news of this choice to every corner of the galaxy, Elena felt a deep sense of completion. Humanity had returned not to reclaim their past, but to help forge a future where all forms of life could reach their full potential. The stars burned bright with possibility, and the journey of cosmic evolution had only just begun.